What's up guys, and welcome back to another episode of CNC. It's episode number 42 and we're starting today's episode off on the back of the 2-1 victory in Spain in the Metropolitano against Atletico Madrid, putting us 90 minutes away from a place in the Champions League semi-final as we face Leverkusen here back on the weekend, back in Dresden, where as we know with 6 games to go we're 11 points clear of Bayern Munich, meaning 4 wins in our final 6 games will see us retain the Bundesliga title. So yeah, taking on Leverkusen for the first game of today's episode. I've got to stop saying this every time he gets a goal, but I mean, less said about the celebration the better. But Simon this year, I can't help myself, man. To put this into context, he's already scored more goals this season than he has in the entirety of the last 2 seasons combined. That's incredible. That is a ridiculous increase in productivity. And again, he is now 90 overall as well. It's remarkable how well this guy has done this season. And, you know, it's just, there's just been something about this guy this year that's been so much better, and I've been so much more ease controlling him as well. Also, I mentioned before, like, since the arrival of Agu down the left-hand side, and of course due to the rapid rise in development of Gutau on the right-hand side, our play is not as central focused as it used to be in the first couple of seasons in the 3 Liga and the 2 Liga. But even so, like last season, I think Simon got what, like 4 goals or something, the season before 6. This year, as things stand, he's on pace to surpass 20 goals in the Bundesliga. That is remarkable, and again, a brace in that game for him in a 2-0 victory. And it's true, Ransford Yeboah this season, he's not got as many goals as he had last season or the season before. In fact, this might be his lowest scoring season in a league campaign since the save began. But if there's one man that's picking up the slack as his right-hand man this year, it is, of course, our best youth academy graduate, Albert Simon. So yeah, taking a look at taking on Atletico Madrid for the second game of today's episode here. Obviously won the first leg away in Spain 2-1, and I mentioned before, really this tie should be over at this point. I gifted Atletico Madrid a goal back into the game and a route back into the tie as well after a silly pass out from the back. Gave them a chance to get back in this tie. Missed a couple of sits as well. Really should have won the tie like 3 or 4-0. That would have been a tie over in my opinion, but instead they were still in it heading back to Dresden, and both goalkeepers in this game were on fire. I think it was the last episode when I mentioned the fact that sometimes like you come up against a goalkeeper who's just on absolute flames. This was one of those games. Hubner made a couple of really good saves in this game, including right there, but Jan Oblak made a couple of brilliant saves in this one, could deeply at the post 56 minutes in. I couldn't believe just past the hour mark we were still deadlocked at 0-0. One of those games where it's like you get chance after chance, shot after shot, you just can't score. Same goes for your opponent's score. However, right after the hour mark, Gerard Moreno makes it 1-0 here, so it's 2-2 over 2 legs at this point. But as things stand, we're still going through despite trailing on the night due to the away goal ruling. And for those of you that have been around on my channel for a while, you will know this. I say it every single time we have a European tie and we get ourselves an away goal. They are so crucial, and you've got to play for them when you are away from home. 6 minutes after Moreno gives Atletico the lead, we had a chance to make it 1-1, but again, Jan Oblak, best goalkeeper in the game, makes another brilliant save and keeps it at 1-0. But in the end, as you can see, whilst we lost on the night, we do go through on on away goals. Final score 2-2 over 2 legs. But due to the away goals we scored in Spain, one more than Atletico, we are through to the Champions League semi-finals. I've talked about it and I've said it before and I'll say it again, and some people will laugh when I big up the importance, but this is why you go for away goals in European ties. They count double and you just never know. That might be the reason you go through. So we're into Champions League semi-finals, into the final 4, and we've been drawn against... Oh, can you believe it? Manchester City in the final 4. Look at the tie, though. Look at the ties, I should say here. Isn't this just a really interesting final 4? Lyon beat Barcelona. Leipzig knocked out Liverpool. So it's Leipzig versus Lyon and us versus Manchester City. No disrespect to the other 2 teams, Deb. We faced all 3 of these teams in the save so far. And I would have much preferred to have had Leipzig, as we know, we talked about them before in this save. They're not being quite as good as sometimes they can be, consistently finishing outside the top 4 in the Bundesliga. Lyon, of course, you remember last season, the Champions League, we had them in the group stage, and whilst we did lose to them in France, we did beat them in a reverse fixture and ended up going through as they finished in 3rd in the group last year. So I would have preferred Leipzig or Lyon, but Man City won the Champions League 2 years ago in the game. Of course, they're into the final now, as we know. Congratulations to them doing that in real life, into their first ever Champions League final. Very interesting to see if Guardiola can complete that that sort of milestone for him. Well, not a milestone, but a hurdle for him. Obviously, the Champions League is what Man City have coveted for quite a long time now. You know, they've had domestic dominance. They've won multiple Premier League trophies, FA Cups, obviously EFL Cups as well. But as we know, they still won that Champions League, and now they've got a great chance to do it this year in real life. We'll take them on the semis though. Obviously, don't forget we had them in the group. If you remember, we had them in the group this year. We had them in the group last year. There's something about Man City, we can't avoid them in Europe. Like literally, we're always facing them. Can you believe this will be in 2 seasons, games 5 and 6 against them? Had them in the group last year and this year as well. And don't forget, we actually beat them away at the Etihad this year in the group. So I have to say, I think we're probably slight underdogs, possibly, maybe very, very balanced tied. I want to be fair thinking about it, but even so, I still feel confident we could possibly make it through there and head in to the Champions League final. Looking forward to it though, should be a good semi-final tie. Regardless, following the draw there, we had Stuttgart away from home. Right now looking certain to go down the Bundesliga. Beating 3-0. Very, very comfortable victory there. Ramsdale with 1, Gattal with another, and Gadikli as well, meaning with 4 games to go, as you can see, the gap on Dortmund now is 12. Bayern have really fallen off the pace. 15-point gap on Bayern Munich, so 4 games to go, 12-point gap on our closest threat, Borussia Dortmund, in second. So that would mean with just those 4 matches remaining, 12 points possible. We only need the 1. Yeah, title certainly in the bag, or so it seems. I mean, a chance to do it as well in this game here against Freiburg. If we won this one, that will give us the title in our final game in today's episode. In fact, just a draw would do it in this game here against Freiburg. Of course, don't forget, a few years ago came up with us runners-up in the 2 Liga. It's pretty cool how they've managed to survive ever since then as well. They haven't been relegated since they got promoted with us back in season 2. I think that's really cool when you're doing an RTG and you notice like a club sticks with you. I think that's always really, really cool. I've had that happen to me before in RTGs I've done in England and Italy as well. When you come up with a club and the club remains in the top tier as well. I don't know why, but I think that's really, really cool. Like brothers in arms, you know. But still, anyway, taking off Freiburg again. Didn't need to win this game. Only needed a point, but I wanted to win, of course. Ramsdale, what a shocker, scores our first goal of the game. And to be honest here, you know, I talked about it before earlier in today's episode here. He's not had as good of a goal scoring season, yet ironically, I'd probably say it's been his best season in the save, just because, as we know, we've seen the guy put in assist after assist after assist, and as things stand, is on course to pull an Ivan Toney and win the Golden Boot and the assist title together. So that was goal number 25, I think it was, for the season in the Bundesliga. He might not even get to 30 this year for the first time in the save, but again, when you consider the assists he's got this season, I'd still probably call it his best season of the save so far. Missed a couple of sitters in the game though, should have won this game by multiple in the end, could only settle for a 1-0 win, but that is totally fine with me. That is all we needed in the end. Another clean sheet for Sasha as he chases back-to-back Golden Gloves and the title in the bag as well. And I'd say as well, this is our 4th title in 5 seasons. You know, many of you guys have asked me about the difficulty of this save and the sliders as well. I'll be totally honest here, I've barely adjusted the sliders at all throughout the course of the save. I've made this a bit of a streamlined save really, as we know we'll be doing like 1 season per week, so I've kind of just played through and just had fun with it really. But after our 4th title in 5 years and back-to-back Bundesliga titles as well. Obviously I have been mentioning it very, very briefly on Twitter. If you don't follow me on Twitter, please do so. There's a link in the description of the video as always. I've mentioned this on Twitter. I've mentioned this a couple of times throughout the series as well. Obviously, I will be planning a new project very soon. I will be planning a new CM very soon, and when I do that, I'm looking to do a more realistic CM, which is hopefully more challenging as well. I got to be honest, I felt pretty confident I'll be able to progress with this Dresden team pretty quickly, as there was some decent young talent to start to save off. Obviously, no better than Ransford Yeboah, and obviously as well with the shorter seasons as well, I can make more progress in a quicker amount of time. But I think for whatever my next series is, I'm going to look to do it a little bit slower, possibly a little bit slower. Not much, because I do like the pace of the saves we've been doing this year, but definitely try and make the series more realism based and a little more challenging, factoring in things like we had in our QPR save with injuries and more realistic signings based on the reputation of the club and where we are currently right now, just to make it a little bit more interesting. So that'll be my next project, which hopefully I'll be starting in about a week or 2. But this one is not done yet whilst the Bundesliga title is wrapped up with 3 games to go. As you can see, there's still more things to play for the season ends. We've got Champions League semi-final, Manchester City, both legs in the very next episode in the season finale. But I will, in today's today's episode of CNC, guys. So thank you for watching. If you have enjoyed it, and if you have, then please do drop a like. Much love to you all. Have a fantastic day, and I'll see you for the next episode of CNC very soon.